Hello, everyone. Welcome to the English Globe. I hope you all are well and having a good day. My name is Adam, and I am so happy to be with you today. I'm not alone here. I'm joined by my good friend Julia. She is always full of great ideas and positive energy. Today's episode is going to be really exciting and helpful, especially if you are someone who wants to grow and improve your life. Hi, Julia. How are you?
Hi, Adam. Hello to all of our wonderful listeners. It's always a great pleasure to talk with everyone here on the English Globe. I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm also very excited about today's topic. It is something that can help all of us, not only in learning English, but also in our everyday life. Today, we are going to talk about stepping out of your comfort zone. This idea can truly change your life if you take it seriously.
That's right, Julia. The topic of today's podcast is why you must step out of your comfort zone. This is something we all need to think about. Many people stay in the same place or do the same things every day because it feels safe. It feels easy. But if you always do only what is easy, you will never grow. You will never learn something new. You will never become the best version of yourself. That is why this topic is so important.
Yes, Adam. Many people don't understand how much their comfort zone can limit them. It may feel nice to stay where things are easy and familiar, but it can also stop you from trying something new. If you always avoid new things because they are hard or scary, you miss many great chances. Maybe you want to speak English with confidence or travel to a new country. These things often require you to leave your comfort zone.
Before we go deeper, let's explain what a comfort zone really means. This is an English phrase that you will hear often, so it's good to know. The word comfort means feeling safe, relaxed, or without fear. The word zone means area or place. So your comfort zone is a place where you feel safe and comfortable. But it's not a real place. It's more like a situation where everything feels easy and familiar. That can be nice, but it can also hold you back.
That's a great way to explain it. For example, if you always study English alone and never talk to other people, that might be your comfort zone. If you never ask questions in class because you're afraid, that's part of your comfort zone too. It feels safe, but it also means you're not learning new things or growing stronger. So, in this episode, we will talk about how to understand your comfort zone and how to take small steps to move beyond it.
We know that stepping out of your comfort zone can feel scary. It's not always easy to do new things, but it is always worth it. In this podcast, we will give you many ideas and simple examples. We will also share stories from real life, stories about people just like you who took one small step and saw big results. You will see that change is possible, and you don't have to be perfect. You just need to be brave and take the first step.
That's right. And don't worry, we will speak slowly and clearly. We will also use easy words so you can follow everything. Our goal is to help you understand not just the English language, but also how to become stronger and more confident in life. So, are you ready to begin this journey with us? We are excited to help you grow, improve your English, and take that first brave step out of your comfort zone.
Let's now talk more about what a comfort zone really is. The term comfort zone is used a lot in English, especially when people talk about growth, change, or learning. But for many learners, this phrase might be new. So let's explain it step by step. The word comfort means to feel safe, relaxed, and free from stress. The word zone means a space or area. So your comfort zone is the area where you feel safe and okay.
That's a very simple and clear explanation. Your comfort zone is like your personal space where nothing feels difficult or scary. You know everything that is happening. You don't feel nervous, You don't feel worried. You feel calm and okay. But here's the problem. If you stay in your comfort zone all the time, you do not grow. You do not learn. You just repeat the same things again and again. Life stays the same, and you may miss many good things.
That's true. Imagine a person who always speaks their native language, even when they want to learn English. They are staying inside their comfort zone. Why? Because speaking your first language is easy. You know all the words. You don't have to worry about mistakes. But if you want to speak English better, you must try. You must make mistakes. You must speak even when you feel shy. That is how you grow, by stepping outside your comfort.
Yes, exactly. Let's give more examples to help everyone understand. Maybe someone wants to go to the gym to get stronger, but they feel shy because they don't know how to use the machines. So they stay at home and never try. That is their comfort zone. Or maybe a student never asks questions in class because they are afraid the teacher or other students might laugh. So they keep quiet. That is also a comfort zone. It's safe, but it holds them back.
I love those examples, Julia. They are so easy to understand. And I think many people listening today have felt like that before. I know I have. When I first started learning another language, I was very afraid to speak in front of people. I didn't want to make a mistake. I didn't want others to laugh at me. So I stayed silent. That felt safe. But the truth is, I wasn't improving. I was just hiding in my comfort zone. And nothing was changing in my life.
That's a really honest story, Adam. And I think many people feel the same way. Maybe you're listening right now and you feel afraid to speak English. Maybe you only read or listen, but you never try to speak. That is okay. You are not alone. We all have comfort zones. It's a natural feeling. But if you want to get better, you have to move a little bit outside that zone. Just a little at first. That one small step can make a big difference.
Let's talk about the feelings people have when they are inside their comfort zone. Most of the time, they feel calm, relaxed, and safe. They feel like they are in control. But when they think about trying something new, like speaking English with someone, giving a short speech, or traveling to another city, they feel nervous. They may feel scared. They may say, "I can't do this." That's fear. Fear keeps us inside the comfort zone. But it also keeps us small.
Yes, Adam. Fear is the biggest wall inside the comfort zone. But here's something very important to understand. Fear is normal. It's not bad to feel afraid. Everyone feels fear. Even brave people feel fear. They just don't let it stop them. So when you feel nervous to try something new, remember, it's okay. That feeling means you are close to growing. When something makes you a little uncomfortable, it might be the right step to take.
So true, Julia. And when you step outside your comfort zone, something amazing happens. You start to learn. You start to grow. You feel proud of yourself. Even if you make a mistake, you are still learning something new. That feeling of learning is powerful. It gives you more confidence. The next time, it gets easier. And the more you try, the more your comfort zone grows. One day, things that felt scary before will feel easy.
Let's make this very simple for everyone. Your comfort zone is like a small circle. Everything inside the circle feels easy. Everything outside feels hard or scary. But every time you do something new, you make that circle a little bigger. You bring more things inside your comfort zone. That's how people become stronger. That's how people become confident. So today, we want you to think about your circle and ask, can I make it just a little bigger?
That's a beautiful way to say it. And remember, stepping outside doesn't mean jumping far. You don't have to do something big or dangerous. You just need to take one small step. Maybe you say one sentence in English today. Maybe you talk to a new person. Maybe you try reading out loud. These are all small steps, but they are powerful steps. Every step you take adds to your growth. Every step takes you closer to your goal.
And now that we understand what a comfort zone is and how it can limit our growth, let's move to the next part of our podcast. In the next section, we will talk about why people stay in their comfort zone. We will explain the fears, the worries, and the habits that keep people stuck, and how you can begin to break free. Are you ready, everyone? Let's keep going on this journey together.
Yes, Julia. I remember when I was learning Spanish, I felt so nervous to speak, even though I had studied many words and practiced grammar. Every time I had a chance to talk to someone in Spanish, I would feel my heart beat faster, and I would tell myself, maybe I will speak next time, because I was afraid of making mistakes or forgetting words. That fear kept me silent for many months, and even though I was learning, I was not improving my speaking skills at all.
Thank you for sharing that story, Adam, because I think many of our listeners feel the same way when learning English. People often stay quiet or avoid speaking because they are afraid someone might laugh at them, or they worry that others will not understand them. So instead of taking a chance and practicing, they choose to stay silent. But that silence, even though it feels safe in the moment, stops their progress and keeps them inside their small comfort zone.
Exactly, Julia. One big reason people stay in their comfort zone is fear. Fear of failure, fear of looking silly, and fear of not being perfect. But what we need to understand is that fear is just a feeling, not a fact. And most of the time, the fear is bigger in our mind than it is in real life. When you finally try something that scares you, you often realize it was not as bad as you thought. And that is how your comfort zone starts to grow step by step.
Another reason people stay in their comfort zone is routine. Our brains like habits and patterns, and when we do something the same way every day, it becomes automatic and easy. So if you are used to only listening to English but never speaking, that becomes your normal routine, and your brain will resist any change because it thinks change means danger, even though speaking English is actually something helpful and positive for your life.
That's a really good point. Our brains are designed to keep us safe, not to make us brave. That means your mind will try to protect you from anything new, even if that new thing is good for you, like learning a new skill or talking to new people. So every time you think about stepping outside your comfort zone, your brain might say, "Stop, don't do it." But that is just your brain doing its job, not because something bad will happen, but because it's not used to the change yet.
Yes, and one more reason people stay in their comfort zone is because they don't believe in themselves. They say things like, "I'm not smart enough," "I'm too old to learn," or "I will never be fluent." These negative thoughts create walls around them, and the more they repeat these ideas, the stronger the walls become. But the truth is, everyone can grow, everyone can change, and everyone can learn something new if they take small steps and give themselves permission to try.
You're absolutely right, Julia. Self-doubt is like a heavy bag that people carry around, and it makes every step harder. But imagine what would happen if people started to say, "Maybe I can try," or "It's okay if I make mistakes," or "Every small effort is progress." These new thoughts can slowly break the walls of the comfort zone and allow light to come in. When your thoughts change, your actions change, and soon you start seeing yourself in a new and more confident way.
Let's also remember that staying in the comfort zone can feel good for a short time, but in the long run, it can make people feel stuck, bored, or even unhappy. Why? Because deep inside, We all want to grow, to improve, and to discover new parts of ourselves. And if we never take a step forward, we feel like something is missing. Growth gives life meaning, and when you challenge yourself, even just a little, life becomes more exciting and full of new possibilities.
That's so true. When we look back at our lives, we don't usually remember the easy days when nothing changed. We remember the moments when we took a risk, when we tried something new, or when we did something that scared us but helped us grow. Those moments become stories we tell, lessons we learn from, and experiences that shape who we are. So while the comfort zone feels safe, it does not help us build those powerful life moments.
So to all of our listeners out there, if you feel like you're stuck in the same place, doing the same things, and not seeing progress, maybe it's not because you're not smart or talented, but simply because you haven't stepped outside your comfort zone yet. And that's okay. The good news is that it's never too late to begin. Even one small step, like saying hello to someone in English or practicing one sentence out loud, can start the journey of growth and change.
That's right, Julia. Growth doesn't begin with a big leap. It begins with one small step. And in our next section, we are going to talk about how to take that step. We'll give you simple and practical ways to step out of your comfort zone, especially as an English learner. You'll learn how to start small, how to feel less afraid, and how to stay strong even when things feel difficult. So, stay with us. This next part is going to be powerful.
Now that we understand why people stay in their comfort zone, let's talk about how we can take real steps to move beyond it. The first thing to remember is that you don't need to take a big, scary leap all at once. You can start small, really small. For example, if you're learning English, your first step might be to say just one sentence out loud each morning. Even something simple like, "Good morning, today is a beautiful day," can help you break the silence and build confidence slowly, without pressure.
That's such a helpful example, Julia. One small step at a time makes the journey feel much easier, and it helps you feel in control of your progress. Another powerful way to step outside your comfort zone is to change your routine just a little bit. If you usually watch movies in your native language, try watching 10 minutes in English with subtitles. If you always write in your notebook quietly, try recording your voice speaking those same words. A small change can wake up your brain and help it grow.
Yes, and one more tip that works really well is to talk to yourself in English throughout the day. It might feel strange at first, but it's actually one of the best ways to become more comfortable speaking. You can describe what you're doing, like, "Now I am making tea," or "I am going to the store to buy vegetables." This helps you think in English and feel more relaxed using the language. And since you're speaking to yourself, there's no pressure, no one is judging you, and it's a very safe way to practice.
That's a great point. Speaking to yourself is powerful. And here's another tip. Write your thoughts or your daily plans in English. Writing gives you time to think about vocabulary and grammar without feeling rushed. You can start with a sentence like, "Today I will clean my room and call my friend," and then slowly write more. Later, you can even read it out loud. When you write and then speak, you connect both skills, and that's a great way to step a little outside your comfort zone every day.
Another way to grow is by asking questions in English, even if you feel nervous. If you're in a language class or part of a study group, try asking your teacher or classmate a simple question in English. Don't wait until you feel ready or perfect. Just try. Even asking, "What does this word mean?" or "Can you say that again?" helps you get used to speaking out loud in real situations. These small, brave actions build confidence and prepare you for even bigger conversations later on.
Yes, And a very important part of stepping out of your comfort zone is learning to be okay with mistakes. No one speaks perfectly when they start, and mistakes are part of the process. In fact, every mistake is like a small teacher. It shows you what you need to learn next. So instead of feeling sad or shy when you make an error, smile and say, "Okay, now I know something new." This way, your fear of mistakes becomes smaller, and your courage becomes stronger with each step you take.
Also, it can really help to find someone who supports your learning journey. Maybe it's a friend who is also learning English, or maybe it's someone who speaks English and can help you practice. When you know someone is cheering for you, it feels easier to take a chance. You don't feel so alone. You feel stronger. Even having a language partner online, someone you meet once a week, can help you feel more comfortable using English and trying new things that are just outside your normal routine.
And let's not forget about celebrating your progress. Every small step you take deserves to be noticed. If you speak one full sentence today, give yourself a smile. If you try something new, like joining a group or asking a question, write it down and celebrate it. When we focus only on big goals, we sometimes feel discouraged. But when we celebrate each step, we feel motivated to keep going. These positive feelings help you stay strong, even when the journey becomes difficult.
And here's something else that helps. Set a small challenge for yourself each week. For example, this week you can challenge yourself to say hello to someone new in English. Next week, you can try recording a short message on your phone. The week after, maybe you can read one article out loud or listen to an English podcast for 10 minutes. These weekly challenges don't need to be big, but they help you move forward in a fun and focused way, and they train your brain to become more brave.
You're absolutely right. When you give yourself these small, clear goals, it becomes easier to step out of your comfort zone because now you know what to do next. Many people feel stuck because they have no plan, they just hope to improve. But hope alone is not enough. You need action. And when you take action, even small action, your brain starts to say, "Hey, I can do this." That's how confidence grows. Not from waiting, but from doing.
So remember, dear listeners, stepping outside your comfort zone does not mean doing something big or scary all the time. It means choosing something small but new every day or every week and giving yourself permission to grow. Speak one sentence, ask one question, read one page, join one conversation. These are not just small actions. They are the building blocks of success. With each one, your world gets bigger and your confidence becomes stronger.
And the best part is, over time, your comfort zone changes. What feels hard today will feel easy tomorrow. What scares you now will feel normal later. That's the beauty of growth. It starts with just one step, but it takes you to places you never imagined. So don't wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. Take that first step and then keep going. We believe in you, and we're here to help you on this journey of learning, growing, and becoming more confident every single day. Now that we've talked about why people stay in their comfort zones and how to step out slowly and confidently, it's time to hear some real-life stories. Because sometimes the best way to learn and get inspired is to listen to people who were once just like you. People who were scared, unsure, or quiet, but decided to take small steps outside their comfort zone. And because of those steps, they changed their lives in amazing ways.
That's right, Adam. Our first story is about a young woman named Amina from Morocco. Amina had studied English in school, but like many learners, she felt shy and afraid to speak. She always got good grades in grammar, but when it came time to speak in front of others, her hands would shake and her mind would go blank. She told herself, Maybe I'm not meant to speak English well, and she avoided conversations even when people tried to speak to her kindly.
But one day, Amina made a small promise to herself. She said, "Every morning, I will look in the mirror and say 3 sentences in English." At first, she felt silly, and the sentences were very basic. Things like, "My name is Amina," or "Today is sunny." But slowly, over time, she started to say more. After 1 month, she started recording short voice notes and listening to her own voice. She noticed her confidence growing just a little each week.
After 3 months of doing this daily practice, Amina joined a free online speaking group with other English learners. The first time she joined, her heart beat fast, but she told herself, "Just say 1 sentence." And she did. Then she stayed quiet for the rest of the meeting. The next week she said 2 sentences, then 3. After a few weeks, she was having full conversations. Her comfort zone had expanded, and today she works as a remote assistant for a company in the UK, using English every day.
What an inspiring story, Julia. I think many of our listeners can see themselves in Amina's journey. Our next story comes from Diego, a father from Brazil who always dreamed of speaking English fluently so he could help his daughter with her homework and maybe travel abroad one day. But he felt embarrassed because he thought, "I'm too old to learn now, and I'm not good with technology." So for years, he kept English at a distance, reading signs or hearing music but never speaking.
But then, something changed for Diego. His daughter asked him for help with an English project at school. He felt terrible because he didn't know the words, and he saw how sad she looked when he said, "Sorry, I can't help." That night, he decided to take his first step. He downloaded a basic English learning app on his old phone and practiced 10 minutes a day. He didn't tell anyone. It was his quiet secret. But after a few weeks, he felt a little more confident and told his daughter, "Let's learn together."
That moment changed everything for Diego. He and his daughter began practicing English together every evening. They watched short videos, repeated simple sentences, and laughed at their mistakes. Slowly, English became part of their daily routine. Diego started listening to English podcasts during his bus ride to work, repeating what he heard quietly to himself. After 6 months, he joined an English speaking club at the local library. He said it was the scariest thing he had done in years, but also the most exciting.
Now Diego speaks English confidently. He's even helping other adults in his community who feel afraid to start. He tells them, "It's never too late, and you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing." His journey shows that age, fear, and even limited time can be overcome when your reason is strong and your steps are small but steady. And most importantly, Diego now helps his daughter with her schoolwork, and they've even planned a family trip to Canada next year.
These stories are so powerful because they are real, and they show us that change begins with the decision to try, even if the path is slow. Our next story is from a teenager named Lynn from Vietnam. She loved watching English movies, especially romantic comedies, but she never tried speaking because she was afraid of her accent. She said, "I always feel like people will laugh at the way I say things." So she kept silent, even though inside, she dreamed of becoming a flight attendant one day.
Lynn's teacher noticed her potential and encouraged her to join a school storytelling contest in English. At first, she refused. She said, "No, I can't do it." But the teacher said, "You don't have to win. Just try." That sentence stayed with her, and after thinking about it for 2 days, she agreed. For 1 month, she practiced her short story every day in front of her mirror. She recorded herself and asked her cousin to help correct her pronunciation. She was nervous, but she didn't quit.
On the day of the contest, Lynn's hands were shaking. Her voice was quiet at first, but then she remembered all her practice. She breathed deeply and began. To her surprise, people listened. No one laughed. They smiled. And when she finished, the room clapped. Lynn didn't win the contest, but something even better happened. She won her own respect. She said, "Now I know I can speak. I still have mistakes, but I can be brave." She now volunteers at her school, helping younger students with their English presentations.
So many people around the world, just like Lynn, Diego, and Amina, have found courage in small actions. They didn't wait to feel ready. They didn't wait for perfect grammar or perfect pronunciation. They started where they were, with what they had, and they kept going. And slowly their comfort zones stretched and grew. The more they practiced, the stronger they became. That's what we want our listeners to remember. Growth happens slowly, but it always starts with a first step.
We also received a message from a man named Yusuf in Turkey. He wrote to us and said, "I listened to your podcast while I worked at a bakery. I didn't understand every word, but I listened every day. Then I started repeating short sentences while I baked bread. One day, a tourist came in and asked for directions. I was scared, but I spoke. I said, 'Go straight and turn left.' It was simple, but he understood me. That day, I felt proud. I realized I can use English in real life."
Yusuf's story is such a beautiful reminder that your practice, even if it feels small, can prepare you for moments when you least expect it. English isn't just for exams or school. It's for connection, for helping others, and for feeling confident in yourself. Each small moment, whether in a bakery, a bus, a classroom, or a bedroom, can be a step outside your comfort zone. And that step, even if it's tiny, can lead to something big, something beautiful.
So, dear listeners, we hope these real-life stories have shown you that you are not alone. Everyone starts with fear. Everyone starts with mistakes. But the people who grow are the ones who take action, even when they feel afraid. You don't need to speak perfectly. You just need to speak. You don't need to know everything. You just need to try something. Your journey might be slow, but with each small, brave step, you move forward, and forward is the direction of growth.
In the next part of our podcast, we're going to give you some practical challenges to help you step outside your comfort zone this week. These challenges are easy, fun, and perfect for English learners of all levels. Whether you are just beginning or already on your way, we have something that will push you just a little bit, so you can grow with confidence and joy. So stay with us. The best part is just around the corner.
Hello again, dear listeners, and welcome to this important part of our podcast where we give you practical, simple, and effective weekly challenges designed especially to help you step outside your comfort zone in a way that feels manageable, but also pushes you just enough to grow a little every day, because real change happens not from giant leaps, but from small, consistent actions that build confidence and skill over time. And so for your first challenge, we encourage you to start each morning by speaking out loud to yourself in English for 5 whole minutes. Whether it's talking about your plans for the day, your feelings from yesterday, or even describing the weather outside. And remember, it's okay if your sentences aren't perfect. The goal is simply to get comfortable with hearing your own voice speaking English regularly, so your brain begins to think in English more naturally.
Exactly, Adam. And I want to add that this challenge may feel strange or even a little uncomfortable at first, because many learners are not used to speaking aloud when they are alone. But this is the very reason why it is so effective, because it helps you slowly remove the fear of speaking English without worrying about mistakes or judgment. And when you do this consistently every morning, you are not just practicing words, You are training your mind and body to accept English as a natural part of your day. So try to find a quiet place where you feel safe and relaxed. Look in the mirror if you want, smile at yourself, and speak freely, knowing that each word you say brings you closer to your goal of fluency and confidence.
Moving on to challenge number 2, which we believe is especially helpful for those of you who feel nervous about speaking with others. And this is to join a free online group or community where you can practice English with other learners or friendly native speakers, even if you only say 1 or 2 sentences at first. This kind of practice is a step outside your comfort zone because it forces you to use English in real conversations, to listen and respond in real time. And although it may feel scary, remember that everyone in these groups started just like you, feeling shy and making mistakes. But with patience and kindness to yourself, you will soon find that these conversations become easier and more enjoyable, and you will meet new friends who support you along your journey.
That's a wonderful suggestion, Adam. And for challenge number 3, we want you to try something a bit more creative. Watch an English movie or TV show with subtitles, and each time you hear a word or phrase that you don't know, pause the video, write it down, and then practice saying that word or phrase out loud several times until it feels comfortable. And then, if you can, try to use those new words in sentences the next day, either speaking to yourself or in conversations with others. Because by actively engaging with language like this, you are expanding your vocabulary in a fun and meaningful way. And you are practicing how to say new things, which helps your brain remember and use them when you need them most.
For our 4th challenge, we encourage you to record yourself speaking English about any topic you like, even if it's just a short 1-minute video or audio message, and then listen to it carefully to notice your strengths and the parts where you can improve. But most importantly, don't be too hard on yourself. The goal here is not perfection, but progress, and by hearing yourself speak, you develop a better understanding of your pronunciation, rhythm, and fluency, and over time, you will be able to compare your recordings and see how much you have improved, which will motivate you to keep going even when learning feels difficult or slow.
Finally, for challenge number 5, we ask you to take a small risk and speak English to a stranger, whether that is a shopkeeper, a tourist, or someone you meet at school or work, and even if it's just a simple greeting or question like, "How are you?" or "Can you help me?" This challenge pushes you outside your comfort zone because it involves real-life communication where the other person may respond in different ways. But don't worry about being perfect or understanding everything immediately. What matters is that you took the brave step to use English in a real situation. And every time you do this, your confidence grows, your fear decreases, and your English skills become stronger, preparing you for even bigger challenges in the future.
Now that you have some clear and practical challenges to try this week, let's explore in more detail how stepping out of your comfort zone does much more than just improve your English. It also positively changes many other parts of your life, like your confidence, your mindset, your friendships, and even your ability to handle problems. Because when you push yourself to do things that feel difficult or new, you train your brain to adapt, grow, and become stronger. And that strength doesn't stay in English alone. It spreads to every challenge you face, making life more exciting and full of possibilities.
Exactly, Adam. Many people think learning a language is only about vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation. But the truth is that it's also a mental and emotional journey. And when you step outside your comfort zone in English, you develop qualities like patience, courage, and resilience, which are useful in all areas of life. For example, when you try speaking to someone new in English, you are practicing social skills that help you connect with people from different cultures and backgrounds. And this openness can lead to new friendships, job opportunities, and personal growth that you might never have imagined before.
And stepping out of your comfort zone also helps you build confidence, not just in English, but in how you see yourself as a person. Because every time you take a risk and succeed, even in a small way, your brain releases positive chemicals that make you feel proud and motivated, and these feelings encourage you to try more things, to meet more people, and to take on new challenges without fear. So you start to believe that you are capable of achieving your goals, whether it's passing an exam, traveling to a new country, or even speaking English in a job interview. And this positive cycle of confidence and success grows stronger with each step you take.
Yes, and when you become more comfortable with discomfort, you start to see failure differently. Instead of fearing mistakes or embarrassment, you see them as natural parts of learning and growing. And this mindset shift is one of the most powerful changes that happens when you push yourself outside your comfort zone. Because when you are not afraid to make mistakes, you practice more, learn faster, and become more creative in solving problems. And this not only improves your English, but also prepares you for life's uncertainties and challenges, helping you become more adaptable and ready for whatever comes your way.
Another amazing benefit of stepping outside your comfort zone is that it increases your curiosity and willingness to learn. Because when you do something new, your brain becomes more alert and interested, making it easier to remember new words and concepts. And this excitement for learning keeps you motivated even when the journey gets difficult. So instead of giving up when you don't understand something, you feel encouraged to find new ways to learn, ask questions, and practice. And this positive attitude can transform your entire approach to English and to life in general.
And let's not forget the importance of building new relationships. When you step outside your comfort zone, especially by joining English groups or speaking to strangers, you open the door to meeting people who share your interests and goals. And these connections can provide support, encouragement, and even opportunities for practicing English in real situations, which is the fastest way to improve. And beyond language, these friendships broaden your understanding of the world, make you more empathetic, and bring joy and inspiration into your life, which is a wonderful reward for stepping into the unknown.
Finally, stepping out of your comfort zone helps you discover your true potential. Many people don't realize how much they can grow until they challenge themselves with something new or scary. And when you do this regularly, you begin to surprise yourself with what you can achieve, whether it's giving a short speech in English, traveling alone, or starting a new hobby. And these moments of discovery build a deeper sense of self-awareness and pride, showing you that your abilities are not fixed, but can grow endlessly with effort and courage. And this mindset is the key to lifelong learning and happiness.
So, dear listeners, we hope this section has helped you see that stepping outside your comfort zone is not just about learning English. It's about transforming your life in many wonderful ways. And while it can feel difficult and scary at first, the benefits are far greater than the temporary discomfort you might feel. Because growth, confidence, curiosity, relationships, and self-discovery all begin with a simple decision to try, to risk, and to keep going even when things get hard. And that decision is within your reach right now.
Now that we understand the amazing benefits of stepping out of your comfort zone, it's important to recognize that many learners, and even people in general, face certain common fears that stop them from taking that first step. And these fears can feel very real and powerful, such as fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged by others, fear of failure, or fear of the unknown. And these feelings are natural because as humans, our brains are wired to avoid risk and seek safety. But the good news is that by understanding these fears better and learning practical strategies, You can overcome them and move forward with courage and confidence in your English learning and in life.
Yes, Adam. These fears often appear in different ways, and sometimes you might not even realize they are holding you back because they can be disguised as excuses or procrastination. For example, telling yourself, "I'm not ready," "I don't have enough time," or "I'm not good enough." But these thoughts usually come from fear, and they limit your growth. So the first step to overcoming fear is to recognize when it's happening and to remind yourself that making mistakes or feeling uncomfortable is part of the learning process. And it's okay to be imperfect, because every successful person has been there before, feeling unsure but choosing to continue anyway.
Another common fear is the fear of being judged by others, which can be especially strong when speaking a new language like English, because you worry about sounding silly, using the wrong words, or not understanding everything perfectly. But it's important to remember that most people are kind and supportive, and they understand that you are learning, so they won't judge you as harshly as you might imagine. And sometimes, those who judge negatively are actually afraid themselves. So when you practice kindness towards yourself and others, you build a positive environment where learning becomes enjoyable and fear loses its power.
Fear of failure is also a major obstacle for many people, and this fear can stop you from trying new things or taking risks that could lead to great rewards. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of success, because each failure teaches you valuable lessons, helps you improve, and shows you what to do differently next time. And the more you face failure without giving up, the stronger and more resilient you become. So try to see failure as a stepping stone rather than a roadblock, and celebrate the courage it takes to try, no matter the result.
Fear of the unknown can feel overwhelming because stepping outside your comfort zone means entering a place where you don't know what to expect. And this uncertainty can make you anxious or hesitant. But you can reduce this fear by planning small, manageable steps instead of giant leaps, breaking down your goals into simple actions that feel achievable, like saying hello to one new person this week or learning 5 new English words every day. And as you build positive experiences, your confidence will grow, and what once felt unknown will become familiar and even exciting.
Another helpful strategy to overcome fear is to practice mindfulness and positive self-talk, which means paying attention to your thoughts and feelings without judgment, and replacing negative or fearful thoughts with encouraging and realistic ones. For example, instead of thinking, "I will embarrass myself," try saying, "I am learning, and it's okay to make mistakes." Or instead of "I can't do this," say, "I am capable and getting better every day." And these small changes in your mindset can make a big difference in how you feel and act, helping you take those important steps outside your comfort zone with less fear and more courage.
Support from others is also very important when facing fears, so don't hesitate to reach out to friends, teachers, or online communities who understand your journey and can encourage you when you feel scared or stuck, because sharing your fears can make them feel smaller and easier to handle. And hearing others' stories of how they overcame similar fears can inspire you to keep going. And remember, you are not alone on this path, and every step you take is a victory worth celebrating.
So, dear listeners, we hope that by learning about these common fears and the ways to overcome them, you feel more prepared and motivated to face your own fears and continue stepping outside your comfort zone, knowing that fear is natural, but it does not have to stop you. And with patience, practice, and support, you can turn fear into a tool that helps you grow stronger and more confident in English and in life. And that every small step you take is building a better future for yourself.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this inspiring part of our podcast, where we share real stories of people who dared to step out of their comfort zones and change their lives forever, showing us that with courage, persistence, and an open mind, incredible things can happen. And these stories are important because they remind us that we are not alone in our struggles, and that every small step outside your comfort zone can lead to big opportunities. And sometimes those opportunities can even surprise you beyond what you imagined possible, no matter where you start or how hard it feels at first.
That's right, Adam. One story that always inspires me is about a young woman named Maria from Spain, who was very shy and afraid to speak English, especially with strangers. But she decided to join an English conversation group online despite her fears. And at first she could barely say a few sentences, but she kept practicing every day, even recording herself and watching English movies. And after a year, not only did her English improve dramatically, but she also became a confident speaker who traveled to new countries, made friends worldwide, and even found a better job because of her improved language skills.
Maria's story is a perfect example of how stepping out of your comfort zone regularly, even in small ways, builds your confidence and opens doors you never expected. And there's another inspiring story about a man named James from Canada, who worked in a small town and dreamed of becoming a teacher, but he was afraid to apply for a big job in a city far from home because it felt too risky and unknown. But he took a deep breath and sent his application anyway, and he got the job. And now he says that moving out of his comfort zone was the best decision he ever made because it pushed him to grow professionally and personally, meeting new people and learning new skills.
Yes. And there is also the story of Hannah from Japan, who wanted to improve her English to study abroad. But she was very nervous about living alone in a foreign country where she didn't know anyone or the culture well, but she decided to face her fears step by practicing English daily, asking questions, and joining student groups at her university. And over time, her confidence grew. She made lifelong friends, and she graduated with honors, proving that when you step out of your comfort zone with determination, you can achieve your dreams even when the path seems difficult.
These stories show us that the discomfort and fear you feel when trying something new is normal, and it's exactly what signals you are growing. Because if you stay only in what's easy and familiar, your life will stay the same. But by challenging yourself, you open doors to new possibilities, and the courage you build transfers to all parts of your life, not just English learning, making you stronger and more adaptable in facing any challenge. And these stories remind us that success is not about never feeling fear, but about feeling fear and moving forward anyway.
And it's important to remember that everyone's journey is different, and your progress might be faster or slower than others. But what matters most is that you keep trying and never give up, because every time you step outside your comfort zone, you learn something new about yourself, and you grow stronger, and you create new opportunities for the future, and your English skills will improve naturally as a result. And with persistence and belief in yourself, you can write your own inspiring story that others will one day look to for motivation.
So, dear listeners, we hope these stories have encouraged you to see the value and power of stepping outside your comfort zone, and to remind you that although it can be scary, it is also the place where the most meaningful growth happens, and that you too have the ability to overcome your fears, take small steps, and create the life you want with better English and more confidence. And remember, every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your dreams. Thank you so much for staying with us until the end of this important episode. As we finish today's conversation, let's take a moment to review the key ideas we've discussed about why stepping out of your comfort zone is essential for learning English and for growing as a person. Because the truth is that comfort zones, while safe and familiar, can hold us back from reaching our full potential, and by challenging yourself to try new things, even when it feels scary or difficult, you open the door to endless opportunities for improvement, new experiences, and greater confidence in every area of life.
Absolutely, Adam. We talked about how stepping out of your comfort zone helps you build courage, develop resilience, and learn to handle failure in a positive way. And we shared strategies to overcome common fears like fear of mistakes, fear of judgment, and fear of the unknown, which often stop us from moving forward. And we also heard inspiring stories from people just like you who faced their fears, practiced regularly, and created amazing changes in their lives, showing us that it is possible to grow and succeed no matter where you start.
And now, as you listen to this episode, we want to encourage you to take small, practical steps to move beyond your own comfort zone today and every day. Whether that means speaking to someone new in English, trying a new English learning app, reading a short article aloud, or even just practicing a few new words with confidence, because it's these consistent, brave actions, even the small ones, that create momentum and lead to bigger successes. And remember, growth is a process that happens step by step, so be patient and kind with yourself along the way.
That's right, Adam. And remember, it's okay to feel nervous or unsure. Those feelings mean you are pushing yourself to grow, and that is a wonderful thing. So instead of waiting for the perfect moment or for fear to disappear, start where you are now with what you have, and trust that every effort you make brings you closer to your goals, and know that your English skills will improve naturally as you step outside your comfort zone more and more, opening new doors for your future in education, work, travel, and friendships.
Before we end, we want to remind you that you are capable of amazing things, and your journey is unique and valuable. So celebrate your courage, no matter how small the step, and keep moving forward with hope and determination. Because the life you dream of is waiting for you beyond your comfort zone, and we believe in you every step of the way. And we can't wait to hear about your successes and stories soon.
Thank you so much for listening to the English Globe. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave a comment telling us about your experiences stepping out of your comfort zone in English learning or in life. Because sharing your story helps others feel inspired and connected, and together we can all grow and succeed. Until next time, keep practicing, keep pushing your limits, and remember, the world outside your comfort zone is full of wonderful possibilities waiting for you to explore.
Goodbye, everyone, and see you in the next episode.